Welcome to the podcast by the Liberal Arts General Education Revision, or LAGR, Committee, discussing student pathways through the proposed 2017 General Education curriculum. My name is Kyle Dell, and I'm the chair of and social science representative to the LAGR Committee. In this podcast, we hope to share some examples with the community of ways in which many different types of Guilford College students can successfully complete the curriculum we have shared in this initial draft. As a reminder, the members of the LAGR Committee are always available to discuss the work we're doing for our community. To date, LAGR has met with academic departments in all 5 divisions of the college, as well as members of the senior leadership team, the president, the academic dean, traditional and CCE student groups, and academic support offices. We'll be continuing these meetings throughout the remainder of the semester. In working on the initial footprint for this curriculum, LAGR emphasized the importance that the curriculum must be accessible to and supportive of the range of students we have at Guilford: traditional students, adult students, CCE students, transfer students, and students completing large majors. In building this initial footprint, LAGR wished to ensure that the curriculum would work for the full range of these students. In the slides that follow, we will share the ways in which we believe the initial footprint of the new curriculum supports pathways through for all our students. The key elements of the new curriculum can be understood to fall within 3 major areas. A gateway course, common for all students entering Guilford. General foundation courses that develop student skills for advanced work across the curriculum. And a community of practice, where students will engage in high-impact practices across disciplinary fields to work together in thematic sequences of experiences reflecting Guilford's mission. A student's major and electives round out a wider range of chosen areas of interest for a student to develop and explore both in depth and breadth. Because we're examining the pathways through the curriculum for different students, we will use the major and the electives here. However, these 2 graduation requirements are not parts of the general education curriculum per se. Here's the footprint visualized with brief explanations for each part. The first pathway we'd like to share and visualize is how a typical student with an 8-course major would move through the curriculum, earn a major, and complete 128 credits across 8 semesters in 4 years. Here you can see the gateway courses falling in both semesters of a student's first year on campus. These are the orange squares. This student would also be taking 2 foundations courses, 1 each semester, as well as 3 courses in the major, one of which would also be delivering key foundational skill outcomes. In this case, the course in the spring semester, identified here by yellow squares representing the major, as well as blue dots representing the connection to the foundation skill outcomes. This student would begin work in his or her community of practice early in the fall of sophomore year, taking 2 courses, perhaps an introductory seminar, as well as a breadth course recommended by the faculty and staff within that community, and meeting SAC's COC requirements for general education. Over the course of the rest of the student's sophomore year, there would also be additional foundation courses, major courses, and a second elective. Junior and senior years would contain a balanced mix of upper-level courses in the community of practice, perhaps including high-impact experiential learning opportunities like internships, study abroad, community engagement, and peer mentoring. The student would also have sufficient space for exploring other disciplines, areas of interest, and fields with 8 electives, filling out the 2 years and assisting the student in reaching the 128 credit requirement for graduation, which is visualized here by our 128 boxes, each representing 1 credit. Advisors on campus will recognize that certain students may not be prepared to declare a major when they first arrive on campus. In fact, at any given time, approximately 10% of all students at Guilford are undecided or undeclared in a typical year. For these late deciding students, Lager also wanted to ensure there was a pathway through the curriculum as well. Here, our late deciding student doesn't begin significant work on a major until junior year, with only 2 major courses, again represented by the yellow squares, completed in the first 2 years. We've also delayed engagement with the community of practice until later in the sophomore year, again represented by the green squares. Even in this delayed schedule, a student in an 8-course major would be able to have a successful pathway through the proposed curriculum. In our third visualization, Lager wanted to recognize that several majors on campus have more than 8 required courses. In this slide, we designed a possible pathway through the curriculum for a student with a 15-course major. In this case, as with the student in the current curriculum from 1998, a student pursuing a major this large will have to be quite disciplined and focused in planning a pathway through a 4-year plan of study. However, when examining the possible pathway we've shared here, we can see that a student completing a 15-course major would still have available space for electives and exploration beyond the general education courses and the student's selected major. The final pathway we'd like to share today would be for students that would transfer to Guilford for the final 2 years of coursework. We imagine this population of students would increase in the years ahead given the college's commitment to building in greater ease of transfer through an increased number of articulation agreements with local 2-year colleges. In this pathway, we imagine a student transferring half the needed credits to Guilford, representing a mix of major, foundations, breadth courses that could be connected to a community of practice, as well as a number of electives. A necessary component of each community of practice would be ensuring a demonstrated pathway for incoming transfer students to complete a prorated experience within a community. Consequently, the smaller number of communities of practice courses included in this student's final 2 years at Guilford, in this case, 6 courses or 24 credits, represented again in green, would reflect a range of seminars, experiential learning, and breadth courses appropriate to that community. Outside the community is also included here a number of courses that are foundational courses as well as major courses. And the student still has time to explore additional fields through 4 elective courses and can also be guaranteed a successful welcome and transition to Guilford through the required and prorated gateway course in the first semester on campus. This concludes the exploration and discussion of the pathways through the 2017 curriculum that we believe reflect the range and diversity of students that comprise the community at Guilford. We have already had many discussions with several faculty and staff about specific questions related to particular majors, combinations of majors and minors, and we've worked with these programs to ensure successful pathways for their students through the new curriculum. Please contact any member of the Lager Committee and join us for additional discussions in the weeks ahead. Thank you.